Welcome back. Our guest Shar Moore has been giving us an inside look into the life of a successful female entrepreneur. Welcome back, Shar.
Thank you.
Now, you are living in Brisbane with your family. What were your reasons for moving back to Australia?
So we always said, my husband and I, that when we were travelling with our children, that we would keep travelling until it affected anyone. And my eldest son at the time when we moved back was 16 and a half. And living in the Middle East, it restricted his sort of adult teenage life. So you can't get a job over there, you can't learn to drive, and you can't sort of have those experiences like going out with your mates on a Friday night. It's not easy to do that over there. So we decided it was time to come home, move back to the Redlands where we live, and let him have that sort of experience, and also be able to finish the rest of his high school and make some mates over here and grow up with them.
And that was your inspiration for moving back.
Yes.
And I love this next question because this is a little bit of the fashion industry part of Shar. Upon your return, you trained to become a personal stylist, then opened a fashion boutique. What prompted you to venture into the fashion industry?
So when I moved back from the Middle East, obviously opening a spa in the desert, I'm one of these people that like to continue challenge myself. And when you've opened a spa in the desert, attracted the royals, been asked to open a private spa under my brand name for Etihad Airways, you really can't top that. So I thought when I moved back, well, I can't beat that. Like seriously, where do you go apart from opening one on the moon or something? So I thought I still wanted to be able to serve and help women. I still wanted to help women feel amazing in their own skin. So I thought the next step for me was to become a qualified image consultant, personal stylist, and that enabled me to equip women with their own natural beauty and let that shine and be able to tailor it, because so many women underdress. They play themselves down, and especially being a mum of 3 children as well, we start off at the top rung of the ladder when we're engaged, the spotlight's all on us.
Agree.
And then over the years as kids are born, we move down the rungs, and I ended up, styling a lot of women that are somewhere down the bottom of the ladder, and sometimes they can't even see the ladder anymore. But they've got beautiful assets and features, and unfortunately as women we look in the mirror and we look for the part we don't like about us first.
So self-critical.
We are, rather than the parts that are amazing that jump out. So I wanted to be able to highlight those for women and let them know how to hide the things they would like to hide and highlight the assets on their body, and that's what brought me into that industry. And the reason I opened the fashion boutique was I ended up attracting higher end clients, a lot of speakers and TV personalities, and a lot of those people don't actually want to wear clothing that's mass market, so they wanted more individual pieces. So when I was taking them personal shopping, they were saying, oh, but if I turn up an event and I'm the speaker and I'm on stage and I look in the audience, 3 people have got my outfit on, it didn't help their sort of image. So I ended up opening a fashion boutique where I mainly dealt with boutique lines, higher end boutique lines, and sometimes I'd only order 1 piece and I would order it on behalf of a client, so they knew no one else was going to have it. It's a lot of fun.
For this stuff.
Such a diverse background, from the spa industry to being a business entrepreneur to delving into the world of the fashion industry.
Life's a big playground, and one day I want to play in the sand pit, one day I want to be on the swings. Always got to make it fun.
Well, moving on to the next one. Soon after you began your Why Network and Why magazine, I guess first of all maybe tell us a little bit about what it is for the viewers that don't know, and then what inspired you to do that?
Okay, so I was affected indirectly by the Queensland floods. So after that sort of took place, I launched just go back a step. When I was overseas, so in total we were overseas for 8 years. And what I realised by being overseas, you are away from that support network of family and friends. So networking is so important, because when you build relationships with people, it's not so much to go to get anything from it, but it's to give support and form a relationship and a community. So I really realised the value of networking when I was overseas in Thailand and the Middle East. And when I moved back to Australia, I always thought one day I'd love to have my own community of like-minded business people who I could get to hang with once a month and have a bit of fun. We can form strategic alliances and maybe business will come. So when the businesses sort of collapsed after the floods and I closed the shops, I decided, well, it might be time to do this. And one of my underlying passions for years has to be to open an orphanage in Thailand. So I thought, what about if I create a community of people where they pay a membership fee, we get together, we educate them, we inspire them, we help them collaborate, and a portion of each of their annual memberships is given to my orphanage project. And that's what we've been doing for the last few years. So we recently rebranded. It used to be called the Style Network Group, which was tagging on from I was branded as the stylist, and everyone sort of knew me. So I didn't want to lose that branding that I'd built up for a few years. So we called it the Style Network Group. Then on this last year, I've been on this journey with this whole why concept and living your life's purpose. So we just rebranded to Why Network, and Why Magazine is the next step from that.
Right.
So Why Mag is a concept based around, I'm one of these people like Gandhi's saying, be the change you want to see in the world.
So true.
I was starting to get frustrated with some of the mass magazine products out there that feature people that are quite unattainable for a lot of us everyday business people.
Right.
And it was too much of a gap. So people would see them and go, I could never be that. So it actually gets them a little bit more disheartened rather than inspired. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if there was a magazine out there of the you and me of the business world, living our life and our purpose and our why, and feature them. And I thought, well, if there's not a magazine, I'm going to create one. So with no magazine experience, I thought, well, that's it, I'm just going to do it. So one thing I'm really good at is holding myself accountable, and I have quite a large social media following. So I put it out on social media that I'm opening a magazine, this is what it's going to be about.
And then you've got all these people looking,
and it's just the momentum.
And we launched it in February of this year, so we put out a magazine every month.
Impressive.
That's amazing. Well, I hope we have enough time to quickly touch on this, but why did you close the boutique? Because you touched on that. What happened?
So what actually happened was, it's interesting that I've talked to a few people that were actually affected by the floods, and people think you have to have water rushing through your place to be affected. Well, that's not always the case. So where my shops were located was in a little village, and the road that takes people out to the waterfront, all the flood water that had come out from Moreton Bay had actually collapsed part of the road. So the bridge that took people out to this beautiful, gorgeous waterfront area, it was actually halved, or less than half. So only local traffic was allowed to venture out. So a lot of the tourists that came out from the city or the Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast,
makes it
couldn't
difficult.
come.
Oh, we'll have to talk more about that. After the break, we'll find out what's next for Shar and what advice she has for aspiring female entrepreneurs. We'll be back soon.